Hi fam, it's Dylan's mum Deborah. This is Dyl Friends.
Oh my God, we've killed Michael Jordan's dad.
I won the first Brownlow. The problem with that was I wanted it again.
Hey Jared, delete the tweet.
No, we're not here to break news.
This is an exclusive.
It's so silly looking back on for me because I remember just feeling like I'm not needed.
I couldn't, in my wildest of dreams, imagine that we would win the flag at the end of the year.
Damo's a lot funnier than people give him credit for.
Hugely funny.
But Andrew, a little message came across his phone and it was, give Job his Brownlow back.
William,
Dylan,
how are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
You know what? So good to be here today. I'm really excited. I'm really happy for you. I'm really proud of you. Love you. So well done.
Thank you, mate.
Weird fucking way to start. Can we? That was like, It's not a kumbaya session or anything. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations for the Warriors.
Thank you, mate.
And go the Warriors.
Go the Rainbow Warriors.
Rainbow Warriors. Sorry, the Rainbow Warriors.
Rainbow Warriors.
How, mate? Fast forward or rewind, mind you. Like, what has it been now since maybe we first met? 12 years, maybe
2014.
even 2014. So 11 years.
11 years.
Yeah. Far out, man. That's crazy. 18 years of age. I still remember to this day sitting in the Carlton cafe, and you'd just been rookied, and you've got many friends, and probably one of the most. I did say this in a mini yesterday. I think you're probably one of the most popular people I know, and we said this in a sense of popularity is actually a really interesting meaning to popularity. I saw this on a TikTok. I'm not going to lie where I got it from, but it actually talks about popularity isn't being cool or handsome, whilst you do have those attributes. Popularity is about how you make people feel when you're with them, and I think knowing you your whole life, through that period and when you're around, you just don't have a bad time when you're not, when you're with you, whether we're playing golf, having a beer, and doing all these things, and I think that's why you are one of the most popular people I know, because you just have this impact on people. Back to the original point was, I remember sitting in this cafe with Christian Jacks, who's your best friend, one of your best friends.
Yep.
That was where I was going with the popular thing. And he was talking and you got picked up, and I think mutual friends in schools, you're a year below, and you got rookied to Carlton. And KJ was like, this guy's one of the worst fucking blokes, man. He's so up himself. He loves himself. I hate this guy. Just couldn't have had a worse sort of first impression of you.
Yeah.
And then getting to the club, I sort of already hated you.
Yeah.
And now KJ's one of your best mates. You were, best man at his wedding, and life goes on.
Hate me.
Yeah.
Funniest thing about KJ was, I don't know why he hated me, but he certainly didn't love me.
Yeah.
But classic KJ offered to pick me up for my first day at training.
So that's
because I didn't have my license. Anyway, so first day of training, you'd think you'd be up nice and early, ready to rock, feeling good, got your bag packed. KJ had to knock on my parents' front door to wake them up, to wake me up for the first day. So didn't really that might have been the reason why he fucking hated me.
Man, we've got to go to this straight away, because there has been, I think, when you were young, a very there is such a calmness to you, and I don't know if it's calmness or it's just you don't the small things don't seem to really bother you. Is that fair to say, or not really, or is that just an impression?
Mate, it might be a bit more of an impression.
Yeah,
they probably do, but as long as I give off the vibe that it doesn't, that's probably better for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting because I remember.
Do you say that due to sleeping reasons, or?
Yeah, there's just things that, a lot of people being in a professional environment, when you were younger, and I guess this, I'm curious whether it's actually developed over time, because some parts I think have, some I think haven't. I think it's cool that you stay true to sort of who you are as a person, but we talk about this a lot on Footy and Friends, and the old story of punishment sessions, heading down the beach and doing these 5 a.m. sessions, and you slept through one of them. What are your, because as time goes on, it builds more. It builds more momentum of what actually happened. But what are your memories of that whole thing?
I'm pretty sure every time I tell the story, it changes because I wanted to block it out of my head. One thing I do remember is Dale Thomas messaging me saying, mate, it's all good. You're so late, you might as well crash your car, and then claim that you've had a car crash. So I don't know if that's ever been told, but he, But
do you remember what we first were going down for?
So my recollection is it was mix like mixed record-breaking game, and the AFL side had lost to Collingwood, which is the worst opponent to lose to by a record margin, 120 or something. The VFL had played on the Sunday and had a really good come-from-behind win, and the AFL had played the Saturday night or the Friday night or whatever. Anyway, Monday morning came around. I think the VFL was supposed to have a day off, but they go, bugger it, you're all in. 5 a.m. A beach recovery punishment session, and classic first year, tired, played a game the day before. I just completely slept in. And turned my Dad actually woke me up saying, "What's going on? Aren't you supposed to be at training?" Because I'd told him how anxious I was about going the next morning. And yeah, nothing better than Cade Simpson not talking to you for a couple of weeks after.
The two parts to this, one being like I was obviously at that session, and you remember like everyone's just, it's 5 a.m, but you're getting there at 4 because you're just so scared, and then some are sleeping in. But you get there, you're sort of numbering off, looking for everyone, but you're more just worried about yourself because you don't want to get in trouble.
Yep.
And then we did the whole, it was like wrestling on the sand, like wet, middle of winter. It was, I know this is trivial, but like coldness of water and then wrestling on sand is like,
gross.
It's like sandpaper on your skin. And then we had to swim out 250 metres around this pitch black, middle of winter, around a buoy and back. We had some Irish guys that had to have floaties and kickboards, and then did wrestling again. Like, it was one of the worst things, then realising you weren't there. Yeah. And we had to come back again the next day and do it again.
I just remember Shane O'Sullivan.
Who got onto you?
He was the first person that I called because I was freaking out. I think I had something like 68 text messages, 25 missed calls, and most of them were Shano. A couple of the boys had called me, but not. It was mainly Shano because it was the stage where people thought I died almost. Like, it was so late. It was something like 7:30 or 8 a.m. and everyone had been up for 3.5 hours. So I called Shano and he goes, "Mate, it's fine. We'll just come back tomorrow." All because of you. And I was like, oh no. Literally, first year, like, shouldn't have been even playing VFL. I was playing that bad. It was embarrassing. But just sort of batted on and pretended it didn't matter. But deep down, it was pretty scary.
Look, mate, it's funny when you like look back on things, and I think anyone who plays like team sport, it's really interesting that all the fondest memories and the funniest shit that we still talk about to this day is all of like the worst times and like 100%. The funniest things, like
100%.
Going and playing at Preston City Oval or like playing in the Bell Street Cup at Coburg.
Do you remember that punishment where I don't know if we can name this, but David Ellard got knocked out in the altitude room? He had blood pissing out of his face. That might not go on.
No, that can. I can't remember what happened though. There was just
we had. I think it was a different punishment. We had full body immersions in the
up to like the neck.
Yeah, I don't know, like dip your head under and walk on the treadmill in the ice baths, and there was like 20 people in there, so it was overflowing everywhere. Then the other one was like ergos and ski ergos, and the other one was boxing in the hot altitude room. We'd tried to move the bikes out, but there was still a couple, and I think Belly might have punched him and he fell back and cracked his head open in the altitude room. It was pretty naughty stuff back then.
Well, Mitch Lewis, I think, ruined it for everyone. Didn't he get knocked out at Hawthorn, was it?
Probably.
Or someone missed from something. But back
there was
some
shit going on.
Well, the year before you got there, maybe, I think I'm a year older than you, but we did a session. There used to be this guy that came down who was like a heavyweight boxer and he wanted to get fit for his fights. So they put in all the first years into the ring, and he'd do like 24 rounds, and there'd be like 4 of us, and we just rotate through. And it wasn't like, I'm not saying he was belting us, but it was almost like we were trying to hit him, he was avoiding it. But if you got him, he would like get back and just belt you. So we were basically doing like 12 rounds with this heavyweight guy, and then we'd have to fight each other. Again, I don't know if people actually enjoy it.
I think that got canned.
It got
as soon
canned.
as I got there because,
And then 2 guys got knocked out. Bootsy got knocked out, and Matty Lodge got knocked out.
I remember hearing about that.
Matty Lodge got knocked out.
How is Lodgy?
He's in London. He's a good man. How do you reflect or like look back on your first sort of stint in AFL? Because I think for those out there who maybe don't know your story, you've been around, man. You're like an everywhere guy. Like, you've done a lot of stuff. It's bloody. Yeah. It's actually awesome.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. To be honest, like if I look back at Carlton times, my actual enjoyment levels were so low, but I look back really fondly with friends like you, heaps of great mates, and still keep in contact with a lot of the guys that were there, even some of the coaches. But yeah, initially probably just young, going through a full club revamp really, like coaches getting sacked, recruiting staff changing, players changing, everything was just changing all the time. And yeah, if I look back at how I enjoyed my time at Carlton, I probably wasn't loving it when I was there, but now that I look back, it taught me so many great things, similar to what you're saying. Like you talk about footy or whatever, and a lot of it's talking about the crazy, the hard, the really fun, the awesome wins, but the shit losses. Like a lot of it is that type of stuff. But yeah, it certainly builds a bit of a resilience or a internal drive to do things differently or learn from that. So
there's two parts to what you said then that was really interesting. Like one being, you look back now and maybe as older and you think about the stuff that was sort of going on at that time. And this is not a whack of Carlton. I absolutely love Carlton. It was just like how interesting that time was because your old man, Andy, like he's the president of Hawthorn. And you look at clubs that have like good stability around like presidents, CEOs, coaches, and it's like a whole club. It's a business. And how Carlton was at that period, you're right, like you'd have guys drafting players in, then those guys getting sacked, other people wanting to bring their players in, them getting, and it was just like no one was actually
revolving door for every department.
So no one ever felt safe because you'd have like a coach that liked a certain player and then he'd go and then he'd never play.
But it was infectious, that anxiety of everyone feeling, fuck, is my job up for grabs? I think, I just sorry to butt in, but the Isaac Smith chat that he had was, I remember listening to him talking about him deciding on where he went for his trade, and I was like, far out, that's so smart. Why do people not do that more often? Pick a club with stability, you know, like, but yeah, I also just, every time I listen to things, I always revolve it back to my experience, and being at Carlton, it couldn't have been too different, you know.
It is, but I think as well, like, if you look at it from the point of view, and you always just got to try and make it out of the situation that it is, you almost learn so much more from these 100%. Like weird situations because you just go, whoa, if I was, you know, I'm doing a business now and I'm like, geez, I'm not just going to sack everyone and then keep bringing people in and sack. Like, it's just not the way to manage
and handle things.
The other one was just a funny recollection and memory was, again, chatting about this yesterday, like just talk about the same stuff. But do you remember Hardness Club? And were you a part of it? Which was like,
I don't know if I was.
Yeah, you'll probably Brutal Blue Club. Blue. Like it was like Hardness Brutal Blue Club.
Yeah, Brutal Blue.
So
I remember Fat Club.
Yeah, that was when
KJ was captain.
Yeah, KJ was. Can we talk about KJ for a sec?
Yeah, love him.
Christian Jack's one of, I think one of the funniest people in the world.
Hands
like
down.
Just a beautiful, most generous. Like he's that guy that you'd be like, if you want to do something and no one else is there, he's like so keen to go with you 100%. And do it. But yeah, Brutal Blue was just to go back to that. It was like one of our values. And if you didn't, you know, put your head over the footy or go back with the flight, you'd be going through a gauntlet on the training session. And it was one of the most humiliating things you could be known as, which to be honest, I don't have a problem with. Like, I think it's like a great part of footy, which you're probably not allowed to do anymore. I did find myself in there a couple times. Do you remember the sessions?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Like the repeat, like getting bashed from either side and stuff. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. And the coaches would love it. It was so good. It was actually pretty funny when you think about it now.
Ending your time at Carlton, how did all that sort of finish up?
Yeah, so I got delisted, got asked to come back as a train on, and then me and Andrew Gallucci, who's a great friend of mine, still is, but he and I had a spot at a list spot, and then they gave it to him, and the next training session he did his shoulder out for the year. So it was just a bit of a weird time, but at that point in time I was the most driven I've probably ever been to get back on a spot. Decided to go to Footscray in the VFL and had a good year and really enjoyed it and got drafted again, which was pretty lucky. But
yeah, what happened with when you went back and played VFL, did you who got you down there? Why'd you choose Bulldogs? Was it?
Yeah, so chose Bulldogs predominantly for their alignment, like their system of VFL to AFL. It's still to this day, I think, probably the best one that I've seen. All the AFL coaches sort of help out with the VFL. They're just very integrated in the whole sort of program, and a lot of the AFL guys that dropped down, I think it, to be honest, derives from the character of the players at AFL level actually buying into the VFL guys. So Jamie Maddox was a coach of mine at Oakley Chargers, and then he sort of really drove the conversation to get down to Footscray, and I loved working with him at Oakley, and he got me down there, and yeah, it was probably the perfect fit. They sort of let me play naturally and on instinct, which I probably was doing the opposite of previous to that. But yeah, it was really, really good program. So
You won the goal kicking? Or no?
No, I don't think so.
No, you did. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I did. Wait, VFL or AFL? I won the goal kicking AFL the year after, but
Most goals for Bulldogs.
Bulldogs, yeah.
That you talk about that transition of those players as well, with VFL to AFL, because Ben Long was in that team, wasn't he?
He was there the year before,
and
so
he went
they
to
won
Gold.
he got
to go to St
drafted
Kilda,
to Saints, I think,
and then went to Gold Coast.
Yeah, so they'd won the flag AFL and VFL the year before I got there.
Yeah.
So that was also part of the reasoning. Was
Who else was
successful
in that
club.
team, like the VFL guys?
VFL, Geordie Russell, he was my captain. Josh Wallace, Brad Olsen, a lot of these guys that I'm still great mates with today.
Big Monkey.
Monkey Olsen, that's where I first met him.
I didn't know Monkey played VFL.
Yeah, Monkey was a gun.
Wow.
Yeah, so Monkey and Webby were best mates, playing sort of Gippsland Power, and then Monk followed Webby to Footscray.
There you go. And for context, like Monkey and Webby, Lucas Swearbar, got to some of the best pub owners in Victoria, some amazing venues at the Mona Castle and Ascot Hotel, coldest pots in Victoria,
Coldest
they reckon.
pots in Melbourne.
Yeah, in Melbourne. So big shout out to them. They're doing amazing stuff. And I think that's what I loved about footy the most, like the people you meet, the things that just like spread you around, and especially being a 40 club sort of person like yourself, you've got a big sort of list of network.
Yeah.
Get into the Dogs.
Yep.
Walk in, big bevo. This was pre-chompers as well, pre the new teeth.
Had the redo recently.
Yeah, he's looking good. He actually was on the pod recently. Did
I
you
saw
listen to
that?
that?
Yeah, his shirt looked a bit small.
Mate, he's very great guy.
jacked,
Really
isn't
enjoyed
he?
him. No,
He's a
he was good. I think he's very probably a little bit misunderstood, but
Definitely.
he's very. People think that coaches are meant to be normal. Like, it's honestly the worst job in the world. I don't think. Personally, I don't think I could do it. Like, it's
Neither could I.
You can't be normal if you want to do that job or enjoy it. So
Neither can I. He's very, very articulate and
he is.
got a really smart brain.
Yeah,
Thinks really clearly.
You really did play some awesome footy at the Doggies. How do you think that went? Obviously, you said before you won the goal kicking that year.
Yep.
And then found yourself off the list again.
Yep.
What was the trajectory there around?
Probably the enjoyment, to be honest.
Yeah.
To be honest, when I got to the Bulldogs, I wasn't really, at the end of my Footscray VFL year, I wasn't really thinking, fuck, I'd love to go play AFL again. I was actually very content not playing AFL. So I kind of found myself on the list and made a bit of a promise to myself just to enjoy it, and because I knew that it was a bit of just a fluky second chance. I'd kind of played a few good games towards the back end in my VFL year and sort of found myself on the list again. So to be able to, get back on a list and sort of live my childhood dream was pretty cool initially. And I sort of loved it early days, and just a lot of different things sort of happened around that time. But towards the back end, really didn't enjoy my time at all.
What happened then? Like, what changed?
I don't know. I can't really pinpoint one thing that changed. There was a lot going on within myself, but probably just a lack of understanding of what was going on. Which, over the last sort of 4 to 5 years, I've sort of gotten back on track quite a bit. But there was a fair bit in my personal life that was going on. Yeah.
Did you? How did you like? I'm not. You don't have to go into it now, but it's interesting as well. Like, with this, and it's even just a chat between mates. Like as I mentioned before about popularity being one to hang around with, and you're always sort of trying to make other people feel good.
Yep.
And even times like we've played golf together and stuff like that, and I just trauma dump on people in the sense of like I just love telling people my own problems, not because I want to put it on them, but also just make them feel comfortable that if there's ever something wrong, they could talk to me.
Yep.
And like I not that I've ever picked up that there has been anything wrong with it, but I've always probably thought like sometimes the best people have actually got like, not the best people, like the most jovial out of the people. From my own experience, you have got stuff going on and it is hard to like talk about it because you don't want to bring, I don't know. Like,
100%.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, there was certainly an element of that and not trying to bring that on other people and make sure. It was also like a time during COVID where everyone had shit going on.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying as if my stuff was any worse than anyone else's, but it was a combination. Like my personal life stuff was a combination of probably not enjoying my footy as well. So it was almost vice versa. But yeah, I haven't really been one to, not saying that trauma dumping is a bad thing. Yeah. I think it's great. I love when people do it with me. I love it. My job, to be honest, right now is trauma dump every 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I get
Barbers just come in and just...
Every 30 minutes I get someone's life story, and even if they're a regular client, I love it. I think it's great. But yeah, probably at that time, I don't know, classic like guy, just being a guy, trying to work it out. There were certain people in my life that knew definitely what was going on, and there still is people that I'd talk to like very close to me, but I wasn't projecting it out to the world for a number of different reasons. But I've been happy with the way in which I've sort of gotten back on track. And it's funny what you say, like the most energetic, happy-go-lucky people are sometimes one who've got stuff going on as well, but similar to the person who's looking down in the dumps. They've got shit going on as well. I think everyone's got their own.
We're all pretty fucked up, man. I think we can just take it like in somewhat, I don't joke about that. Like I just take comfort in knowing that we've all everyone's genuinely got something happening, and if they don't at the moment, they will at some stage. And it's probably the only thing that is like makes us literally all connected is the fact that we're all going to face 100%. some hard times. But for me, even, people, I get sick of, I hate when people think, Dyl just wants to like talk and get deep all the time. And like, yes, there is an element of that, and I think it's fucking annoying myself, but I am more doing it to just show people that you can do it. But I also understand what your part is. It's not the only way you can handle situations, and it's good for other people out there to know that if they don't want to do that, there are still ways. Like, did you just confide in like club people, family? Like,
not really. Yeah. I probably should have, to be honest. That was probably one thing that I didn't do enough of was tell them what was going on, because ultimately they were the ones having to work with me 9 to 5 days a week. They probably saw me the most, but knew the least about me. Couple of the guys at the club would have known a little bit of what was going on, but not to the full extent. Cool. But yeah, looking back, I've thought about it a fair bit, but looking back, I probably would have spoken to them a little bit more openly.
What's got you even just holistically in life? Like, what do you think's got you in the best position to do what you're doing now? Like heading overseas, having like a super, you invested in a business, you're got great family and friends, you're in like healthy, fit. What do you do to like keep yourself in that best mindset?
Yeah, I think a big one has been the barbering. Like I've loved just doing my thing with it, and I've loved having like a bit of a passion project, knowing that it's a bit more of like a fun thing rather than a really serious, you know what I mean? Like it is still serious. Like I still run the business, still own the business, but having something where I can be probably myself a bit more and be a bit more jovial and play around has been really good for my overall sort of well-being. I do probably look after myself better in terms of my mental health with whether it's psychology sessions, whether it's training in the gym, whether it's ice baths, just the general stuff that you hear so many people talk about. Yeah. But it genuinely makes a difference.
Well, this is where I'm probably starting to lose my
lose your hair?
Not that's been for a while.
Any more than
that's been for a while. But I don't want to ever lose I suppose if you talk about shit too much, it just gets repetitive. And some of those things, even you say them, and I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. But people, it actually does help. Like, and it's more just the routine of doing something and getting yourself out there.
It's probably routines. Probably like understanding one thing that like have worked out over. I got diagnosed with ADHD, which is, I hate talking about it because it's so overspoken about, and it's such a flavour of the month
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it was pretty obvious I had it the whole time, but I hadn't been medicated, and understanding once I was diagnosed, had a greater understanding of what actually makes me tick and what is going to make me tick in the future. So one thing that I crave is routine, and it's like, you know, 1 week I might miss doing something, but the following week being accountable to myself is, definitely something that helps.
For sure. And even just for me, the biggest part around what you're mentioning now is just doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, like staying fit, eating
100%.
and lifting weights. Like, I'm not a gym junkie. I actually fucking hate it, but I just know how much better space I'm in if I'm moving my body. Like, it's a vessel that you just need to keep healthy.
Yep, 100%.
Love it, mate. That's awesome. It's a great insight, and I think, you know, it shows the range that you don't have to be out there shouting off the rooftops of do ice bars and do all these things and not put your problems on anyone else, but have these conversations. You can actually just still impact. So I think a lot of people today will get a lot out of that, which is great. Do you remember, so when you got delisted, a 2-time delisted like myself, congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
It's a good club. We were down at the beach, I think it was one summer, sitting at St Kilda. I don't know if you remember this, but we were just having a chat, having a swim. It was hot. And we were sort of at that point where you were like, what's next for you?
Yeah, I do.
Because I think I just finished up as well, coming back and doing my thing. And then you were like, oh, man, look, I just want to go play. I want to move to Gold Coast.
Yep.
Might go play at Southport. And I want to be a barber.
Barber.
And I was like, yes, like, you've got to do this. And I just love when people want to do stuff like that and like give it a crack. And I think there's probably a million conversations I've had with people like that over the times. And I'd say it's like 0.2% of people actually do it. So well done.
Thanks.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, no,
Like,
I actually do remember. I didn't know where you're going with the beach thing. I thought it was a recovery session. I was getting anxiety. No, I actually do remember that quite clearly. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I've had a lot of people since becoming a barber and opening a shop, like, not apologise to me, but go, well done. Like, you followed through. Not that that's the reason why I've done it either, because I wanted people to say, fuck, oh, good on you, mate. You've done what you've said you're going to do.
Yeah.
It was more so I wanted to do it myself, so that's why I did it. But, initially when, like, I don't know, you come from playing AFL, I was also up in the hub for 6 months in the Gold Coast. So in my eyes, it wasn't the weirdest thing.
Because you were cutting all the boys' hair up there, weren't
not
you?
as much as what
Really?
everyone thinks, but
Really?
I always sort of cut mates' hair when I was a kid and stuff. But yeah, I was already up on the Gold Coast for 6 months and loved it up there. And I just wanted to change of scenery. I'm fucking hating footy, hating Melbourne. There's just so much going on here. So I just needed a bit of a change. And to me personally, it wasn't the weirdest thing ever because I was just so locked into that's what I'm going to do. Whereas, you know, I had mates going, well, you're going to be a barber? Like, shut the fuck up. What are you actually going to do? And I was like, that's what I'm doing. Like, I don't really care what you think. Like, anyway, initially it was a pretty hard transition, to be honest. Like, you go from, you know, lifting weights, kicking the footy, playing games in front of crowds and stuff to sweeping hair out the back of a shop. Like, it's pretty humbling and sometimes like a bit embarrassing. Like, you'd have mates come in and you're like, what the fuck is, like, they'd be like, aren't you a barber? Like, why are you not cutting? And it's like, fuck. Like, but similar to what you're saying earlier, like, it's the times where you look back and go, that was a bit weird or that was a bit hard.
Well, it just shows you got to, like, the death of the ego, right? Like, I think it kills us all at some stage. And I probably remember the conversation a bit better than you, but
Sounds like it.
Sounds like it. I thought it was like a pivotal moment in both our lives. Bill thinks we were at fucking, I don't even know, he thinks we went to Luna Park. But we were sort of chatting about like how, you know, when you transition from any form of work or anything you're doing, there's an easy option, like there's an easy path and a hard path. And one's easy, but then it can make your life hard, and then one's hard, but it can make your life easier. And from footy and sport, and you know, everyone's situations are really different and have families and stuff. But when you were probably at a younger age, like we were, you can take that route of going like, all right, I'm going to go and work at a business and make easy money. There's probably not super passionate about it, but I'll be stuck in this sort of world forever. Or I can go start like at the bottom at 26, 7 years of age and do a job that a 16-year-old would be doing. but then you can grow into a career and then end up eventually finding your passion, owning your business, and having a fulfilled life as
100%.
well.
I think it's I think I kind of learnt it towards the end of my football career a lot about like short-term pain for long-term gain rather than short-term gain for long-term pain.
That's it.
Early in my career, I was probably doing a lot of things which
sugar hits
or not doing things that were hard because I didn't want to because then I'd think, I'll be sore for the game on the weekend. Like they're just physical things. Like I wouldn't do extra weights or whatever it is because I'm like, I might be a bit fucking sore come thingo. Whereas really I should have been thinking long game. Like where do I want to be in 5 years? I probably want to be stronger or whatever it is. So I think that's something since football I've definitely taken into consideration with a lot of my decisions in life is where do I want to be in the future, which I never used to think about, whereas now I do, which is good.
Cool, man. And then like you reflect now, you've got, as you said, you have a barbershop, you're a Kabaddi star, you go on to the US, punting, and got a great crew, support network around you. Like you sort of built that 5-year thing from 5 years ago.
Yep.
It's a really cool concept. And I haven't spoken about this book for ages, and again, I'm cringing as I say it, but it was a massive book for me. It was called The Mountain Is You, and there was this exercise you could do in the book where you write a letter to yourself.
Yep.
So you write a letter to yourself in 5 years' time of like where you want to be. So imagine sort of you did that somewhat when you were saying like I want to look into the future and have this. And then the thing that we don't do enough is then write a letter now to you 5 years ago.
Yeah, right. That's
and
cool.
you can like thank yourself, or you can give yourself feedback, or like talk
That's
about
good.
yourself from 5 years ago and see like where you were.
So good.
It's pretty interesting.
I feel like we used to do that at school.
Really?
We used to write like little time capsules and you used to like in prep or whatever and then you'd open it when you're year 6 or did
You
ever
never
have that?
write it back though, do you?
I don't even think I ever opened them. I think we used to do them, but someone lost them. Nah. Did you ever do that?
I think I did as well,
And,
but
like,
I don't
you
have
put
them
little
either.
things that
Yeah.
meant something to you as a kid.
Yeah. Where is that?
Yeah.
I would like that. I actually do it with Max every year,
Yeah.
which has only been 2. I write a letter to him on his birthday.
That's nice.
Sort of like an open letter
Yep.
that we just put in a box and you can sort of read it anytime.
That's a great idea.
So it's like each
So good.
year.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. All right, so you're up in Gold Coast, playing Southport, living with Webby.
Yep.
Meet Ava or
Met Ava up there. Yep.
met Ava up
Yeah,
there?
met Ava up there.
Where'd you meet her? At the sushi
Met her-
train?
No,
or was it
there is a lot of sushi
Was it
trains.
at Hog's Breath?
Hog's Breath. It wasn't at Hog's Breath, but we
Calab?
did go there first date.
Yeah.
No, it was at our Commune Cafe, which is just down on Burleigh Highway.
How'd it work? Would you just meet eyes and
Our stories were a bit different.
Yeah,
but,
okay. What's
she
yours?
was working behind the register. It was actually funny. I was with Webby's girlfriend
Carly?
at the time, Carly, and Ava thought that she was my girlfriend. So yeah, that's kind of
that's a
how it
good way
was,
to do
I
it.
think.
Mate, people want what they can't have.
Yeah, exactly.
So what'd you do? Did you just slip the number over or
I actually can't remember. I think we like
just made
added
out?
each other.
Just-
Yeah, hooked up. Yeah, hooked up. No, we. I think we got each other's Instagrams maybe.
couple taps and then
But
DMs
we already had a few friends in common from down here in Point Lonsdale.
there you go.
Yeah,
Beautiful. And now she's a big part of your life. She's coming to
massive.
Hawaii with
yeah,
you.
owe a lot to her to be honest.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah, big time. She's coming to Hawaii as well, which is great. But she's a weapon. She's a gun.
Look, it's only 2 people know a relationship when you're sort of in it, but it seems like you 2 complement each other pretty well. Like it's good to have a teammate that is that can help you and support you.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, she's great.
The stuff then around come back to Melbourne, the barbershop ownership, that's all been great. And Zeppelin in Port Melbourne. Would you say Port Melbourne?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just there with what street's it on?
Chase. Fennel Street.
Fennel Street, which is obviously killing it. They've got one in Gold Coast as well.
Coast, yep.
Crispy Club is like the accessories, is it?
Yeah, so it's sort of like clothing, hair styling products, sunnies. Just sort of like getting into the industry a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can we check that?
I think it's crispyclub.com.au.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It'd be good to know your own website. I
Yeah.
reckon.
Well, fuck. I'm not that good at that stuff.
We'll put a link in the show
But,
notes as well.
Yeah, and the Instagram, just crispyclub.au.
Yeah. We'll link it up, definitely.
Awesome.
again, there's just so many twists and tales here, but like Kabaddi, where did the Kabaddi come about? Because did you actually I've actually never asked you about this, but what happened with the Indian? Did they actually offer you a contract to go over there or something?
It wasn't like a definitive contract, but there was talks about going over and doing it properly, which was pretty loose, but it was literally such random timing. But
So how did it happen? Being a part of just being a part of it.
I was pretty much just a ring-in, really. Like they'd already had their sort of guys that they wanted. Murph was one of them. Dyson Heppel, Josh Kennedy was the captain. Campbell Brown was the coach. Like it was pretty funny. And then Dan Hanbury, who I'm mates with, he just sort of messaged me out of the blue saying, "Mate, do you want to come down to Kabaddi?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is Kabaddi?" Didn't have any idea what it was. And then he goes, "Look, it's really random, but like we train in a shed in Docklands." And I was just like, "What is going on here?" I thought he was like I don't even know. I thought he'd been hacked. Yeah. And he just was sending me like videos of Kabaddi highlights, and I'm like, "What is this?" And initially I was like, "Oh, I've just started punting, so I'm like pretty locked in with that. I don't really want to get injured." And he's like, "Mate, come down and just try it out." So I went down, and like the first night I was there, it was like a 35-degree day in summer, and there's this massive like hidden shed in these weird. It's so weird, and we were just on this big mat training, and they were like, "You're in." And I was like, "In for what?" I didn't even know. I didn't even know when and they're like, "Oh, we're playing a game on the 28th of December. Like you're in the team." And I was like, "I can't come because I've got Beyond the Valley." So we were setting up a barbershop at Beyond the Valley for the 28th through the 1st of Jan. And I just said straight away, I was like, "Sorry guys, I can't play. Like I'll train. Like it's good fun. It's good sweat up. Feel nice. It's good to hang out with you boys anyway. Nice to meet you all." And then, I think I like missed a couple of sessions, and they're like, "No, we need you back. Like we need you training."
The big ball.
And I was like, "Yeah, sweet." So that's kind of how it came about. But it's still one of the funnest like games I've ever played, easily.
Yeah. It's pretty physical. Like
very, very, very physical. But the funniest thing was the game, like the Kabaddi game. I hadn't trained, like I'd hardly trained really, because I'd hurt my calf punting like a few weeks before this game, so I didn't even know if I was going to be able to play. But the actual day of the game, I was at Beyond the Valley cutting all day, drove back for 3 hours, had a sleep before the game in the rooms, and then went out and played. But when I got out on the field, because I wasn't there the night before for like the captain's run, I didn't realise that the whole like pitch or the ground was 2 halves, and you play one half and then the other team uses the other half. I thought the whole ground was, I didn't even know like the rules. I didn't know the rules or the size of the game or anything. It was so like made up. It was weird as.
You absolutely rocked that one bloke though. That was
I think it was actually an illegal like tackle. I don't think I got a point, but I got up and celebrated like I got a point, and they're like all the Indians like, "What the fuck is this guy on?" But I had to do like the pretend that I cared, but I was secretly doing this.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So obviously India, they wanted you to come over, be the next big thing in the Kabaddi world, but you had bigger options happening. Pro Kick, actually a good mate of mine, Timmy Gleeson, who works with Pro Kick. He's probably one of the first like guys to go over really early days and do punting and made it like a massive
so he's one of our main coaches at Pro Kick. Yeah.
And Will Gleeson, his brother as well, he was
I think he went over as well.
Yeah, he was there. So they were Northern Knights boys.
Yeah, right. Did they go to Ivanhoe as well?
Tim did for a bit. Yeah, I think he got expelled. Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah. So I went down to Pro Kick, and I've just been training with them since the week after the last game of the VFL last year.
How did it come? Like, when did you actually think this was a thing though, or did someone come up and did they approach you? Or
I spoke to my dad about. And Dad was just like, "Mate, have you ever considered American football?" And I was like, "No, like I've never touched a ball, never watched the game, not interested, pretty much." And he's like, "Oh, because he's got a couple of mates in America that have always said like Bill should be a punter or whatever." And then also Dad played footy with Nathan Chapman at the Hawks, I think, or Brisbane. And they'd spoken previously about it, and Dad was like, "Mate, you should do it." And I was kind of like, got a business, playing footy. I really love my footy at Port Melbourne. Ava, there was all these factors of not to do it. And then I kind of was like, similar to what you were saying before of like when you shouldn't do things, maybe you should. So I was like, fuck, all these pointers are going against me. So I was like, maybe I should at least try it. So I went down for just, it was the most bizarre thing. I got Chappie to send me the videos.
The first
videos, yeah. The first
You need to send them
day.
to us for that.
I'll send them to you, yeah. You should see the kit I was wearing. I was wearing my Barber. So I was called him on like a Wednesday leading into the last game of the VFL season, and I was wearing like my fucking T-shirt and shorts from cutting all day, and I just rocked up to Glenferrie Oval, put on boots and started kicking. It was the most bizarre thing ever. Yeah, no, like, yeah, that's sort of how it started. And then I pretty much just said, mate, I've got one more game of the season. It's my 100th game in the VFL. We'll see if we can go out with a bang. And then I actually went into that game pretty much knowing in my head I was not going to play footy anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, but no one else did.
Yeah.
I think Ava might have known that. I don't think she thought I knew that. I think she was just like, oh, there's a chance he might not play.
Happen.
But in my head, I'd already made the decision up.
I've just realised as well you played 100 VFL games, which is actually very impressive. No, it is. No, it's not at all. I actually
4 different clubs.
4 different clubs though. Like I'm super proud of. At the time, I was definitely embarrassed, and that's not a.
Yeah.
It's not a blight on the VFL at all. It's just more that you're not trying to play VFL at that stage.
Yeah.
And I played 50 games for Preston, Northern Blue. Like there's
Blue
a lot
Ants.
of names, but the Blue Ants. And then I probably got about 40 at NEFL as well. But you look back now and you're like, that's fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100 games at VFL
Yeah,
level.
it's probably like 5 full years of VFL, but then half of them are half years. So it's
Who was the most with?
I think Southport, I think. Yeah, I think Southport in the end. I think I played maybe 30 odd. Anyway, it was pretty funny getting my 100th game thing, and I had 4 different teams. I was like, what is going on here? It's been embarrassing.
No, it's not at all.
But it was good.
The evolution of the pro kick stuff as well. So like getting over there, had that genuinely for someone. I feel so many people are like keen to do this now.
Yep.
What would you say to people out there that are actually considering it? And then for you, once you sort of knew, all right, I'm actually half decent at this and give it a crack, how did then you start actually approaching teams? How does that work?
Yeah,
Like,
so Pro Kick are the ones that sort of have the connections with all the teams and stuff over there. So they do your communication, and they kind of, from my understanding, it depends on every person, every not student, but every athlete is a different case study. But because I was a bit older, my partner's moving over. Mine was a little bit different to most. Most are sort of 21 to 23 or 4 and young and would just do anything and go anywhere. But the coaches kind of line you up with what they think would best suit your personality, your
skill
life,
set,
your skill set, and as well as your kick and your type of kick, as well as what that team wants, needs, and is looking for. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of obviously the training, the weights, the technical side of actually punting is a whole another ball game, which they look after. But the communication between you and the colleges and filming and so naturally you sort of train, and then as you get closer to potentially getting the opportunity to get a scholarship or go over, you start getting film and doing certain. It's pretty weird. Like, so so different to AFL. I can't even tell you. But you do sort of like, you'll set cones up in different yardages, and then you have your helmet on, you have your pads on, and you're trying to kick certain balls
as high as you can, and
hang time, distance, and direction. And then you send in like a set, and you send in different sets of different types of kicks to pro kick.
Did you have any meetings with them? Like, have you sat on the phone with people, and like now that you're already signed, etc.?
Yep. Yeah, I have since signing, but the way I got recruited was I was actually on FaceTime with the coach at Hawaii, but I didn't know that I was on FaceTime. I just was under the thought process that I was just getting videoed and getting film, but the coach actually had a FaceTime on. So it was cool.
It's sick.
Yeah, pretty weird.
Moving to Hawaii is going to be like, it's gonna be sick.
Yeah,
like
I've never been, but which is
just the
even weirder.
best thing, man.
Yeah. Have you
Like,
been?
I've never been.
Yeah, well,
like I've
yeah.
seen one of
But
my
we
favorite.
both know how good it is.
Well, one of my favorite movies is Blue Crush. Do you remember Blue Crush?
Yeah, vaguely. I'm not much of a
Yeah,
movie
you don't
guy.
like movies. I know it's
the weird
hard,
thing,
but I'll have
maybe.
to send you Blue Crush. Like it's
It sounds like a real childish. Like,
yeah, it's got a really good
surfing.
soundtrack as well. It's about this girl who surfs pipeline and anyway, really good. But from that,
Yeah.
Hawaii looks cool.
No, I've heard incredible things, and since agreeing to Hawaii, like the amount of random connections over there
Yeah.
is just crazy.
So what do you like? Are you going to be living on campus and
No.
are you studying or
Yeah,
like, yeah?
that's everyone's first question is, hey, what are you going to study rather than where are you going to live?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be studying. I'll probably do a business degree.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, which will be good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And live? Like what? How does that work?
We will live.
Yep.
I don't know where, but no, we'll sort of live off campus, probably, hopefully a bit closer to the beach, but anywhere in Hawaii would be nice, wouldn't it?
What does Ava want to do when she's like if she works that out?
She just
yeah?
wants to sit on the beach.
yeah, just chill.
Nah, she will. Yeah, she'll probably do her work from here over
Online.
there. Yeah, and maybe get a job over there, depending on visas. And there's just so much
Yeah.
like uncertainty, which is great. I think.
Mate, it's the best, and I think,
Yeah.
as you said before, you know what? There's a million reasons like people, and you can say no to these things like too hard basket, but best case is it's the best thing in the world.
Yep.
The worst case is you're literally on a flight, come home, pick up life wherever it was,
Exactly.
and that won't. Yeah, and
No, but that's
with that
the
as well,
mindset
you
I've
get
had,
the
though.
whole lessons of all that shit as well that come
Yeah.
back with you. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's bloody exciting.
Yeah, it'd be good.
So when are you leaving?
Don't have a date, but like in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, it's pretty loose.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it'll be
Jeez.
crazy. I'll be back. I'll be back quite a bit though. Like we
You play here a bit?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
play
they-
in just at the G a few times. But no, I'll be back like December.
Yeah.
So the season only goes for 3 months. It's pretty short lived.
What about one thing that we
Yep.
probably where we spend most of our time together is on the golf course.
Yep.
Like that's, I'm going to miss you playing golf with you. But the big thing over there, like, have you looked at? There'd have to be some amazing courses. Do you get any reciprocals over there? With the,
No, I don't think we do. But I'm kind of banking on one of the players or
Having
one
a
of the
course,
coaches
yeah.
being a member somewhere. But yeah, there looks like there's some incredible golf over there. One of the Walker guys who owns Walker,
Yes.
Jack Fardell, he lives over in
he lives in Hawaii.
Yeah, he lives in Honolulu, which is wild.
On a hey.
Yeah,
There you go.
Honolulu.
That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Paul Roos lives over there as well.
Paul Roos lives in
Roos
Hawaii.
lives in Honolulu, yep. Yeah, so there's a couple of connections already over there.
If anyone is listening and does have a connection in Hawaii as well, let us know. That would be cool.
Yeah.
We'll link up with some
Yeah,
people
big
if we're
time.
hitting anyone up in
Yeah,
Hawaii.
might need some new golf clubs or...
Yeah. That'd be huge. Mate, it's Ben and I are chatting today, like honestly, it's weird talking to like sometimes it's weird talking to someone you know so well and
Yep.
then reflecting on different things and yeah, just extremely proud of what you've done and the person you've become genuinely. The one part that I'm curious is like around, I know we're very different in the sense of I like to reflect on things and just talk about them for millions of years and what you're quite humble and just move on through it. But is all these things that have happened, like every negative situation, I suppose, is then turned into the next thing, the next thing, the next thing.
Yep.
It's so easy to like get down when shit doesn't work out and you get, I suppose you lose confidence from certain stuff, but you've been able to sort of continue to try and keep going. Has there been, like, where do you think that's come from? Has someone helped you with that? Like, is it sitting with your mum and dad, or has it been like fucking like a book you read, or do you think it's just been instilled in you from who you are to just continue to like keep backing up?
I don't know, to be honest. I think both of my parents are pretty resilient. So I've probably inherited a little bit of it. But I've got like incredible family, incredible friends. I've got quite a wide network that I bounce stuff off. Like I feel like it's not usually the person you are, I don't think, but the people you surround yourself with. Massive cliche. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, when something hasn't worked out or when, something's gone wrong, completely wrong, the people who've got me back on track are similar ones that have done it every time. But yeah, you can't really not give yourself credit when credit's due as well. Like it ultimately came down to my positive mindset, I suppose, but that's something that you build over time. It just doesn't just overnight happen and all of a sudden you're just thinking positively. And that's not to say that I don't have negative thoughts. Like, we're also in balance as well as balanced all the time.
Definitely.
Is that a shit answer?
No, it's actually. I was just thinking I definitely have a few of those. Don't worry about that. Sometimes the more fucking negative stuff that goes through, you just need to like react on it. So with Hawaii, going over there, just to like round that out, the goal to get into the NFL.
Yeah,
that'd be silly not to, really.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like
the goal is definitely
you're not over there to eat coconuts. And
that would be nice.
Yeah, you probably can.
Nah, to be honest, mate. Yeah, I don't want to shy away from the fact that is the reason why we're packing up our lives and doing it. But also, I need to be mindful enough to know that if that's what I'm thinking about, and I put all my eggs in the basket, it's probably not going to happen, and I'll probably think it. And similar to footy, like when you get something fixated in your brain, or similar to anything in life, if you fixate on one particular thing and it doesn't happen, then it's like the world's over. So, to be honest, that is my end goal, and I also know how fucking hard it is. Like, there's only 32 spots in the world to be an NFL punter. You've got to be one of the best 32 kicks in the world. But in saying that, I'm reasonably confident that I can get over there and just learn and adapt my style and the way my brain works. But yeah, like that's what I want to do. But whether it happens or not is not entirely up to me, but pretty much all on me.
Yeah,
which is great. I love that.
That's sick. I'm excited for you, man. The part around this as well. Like, it's not, you wouldn't be like a draft, right? It's more like you just get picked up, or is it a
as
draft?
in for college or NFL?
NFL.
Yeah. So the way it works, I'm pretty unbeknownst in the system, but the way it works, I think, is go play college, and therefore you've got film of you kicking
in game
under the circumstances of rushes coming towards you, snaps coming at different angles, big crowd, loud noises, because they know you can kick a certain hang time and a certain distance and under video evidence, but whether that's under duress during the wind, whatever it is, they want to see it in game, and then depending on your stats and realistically how good you are, you can nominate for the draft. I think anyone can nominate for the draft, but whether you get drafted is
So it is,
it
is through the draft.
Yeah, so I'll have to nominate through the draft, I believe. Yeah, but I can only do that after a season playing, I think. Yeah. But whether that's one season, whether that's two, whether that's 3 or 4, I don't know. But because I'm a bit older, I'm not in a rush, but I'm pretty eager to sort of try and hit the ground running over there.
That's so cool. Good work. It's fucking, as soon as you get there, we'll fly over. Yeah. We'll get the PJ, put it on the credit card.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Business.
Yeah, you can come.
Bidness.
Yeah. Billstrom, mate, thank you so much.
Pleasure, mate.
You're
Thanks
star.
so much.
Hey, Crispy Club, can we do a little Dizzy code for the listeners? Is that okay?
Yeah,
100%. 90% off?
102% off.
No, we'll do a tenner, 10% off?
20%.
20%. Wow, there we go. I was hoping, because 10's weak as piss. Yeah. 20% off. Get up there, build some coconuts over in Honolulu, and head to the website, get some. I like the oil.
The oil, the beard.
Do you still have the beard oil?
Yeah, we still got it. Yeah. It's nice.
Because I buy it, I sell it out with these.
You sell it in here?
No, I sell it out myself.
You
one.
Sell the whole thing. Yeah, right. I don't know where that was going.
Me neither, man. I think I've been talking too long.
Yep.
Good on you, Billstrom. Best of luck, mate.
Thank you.
Pumped. And we'll have a beer before you go away.
Sure, we will.
And maybe
that is a lie. I can tell you that. That is a lie. He's gotten caught out. There is no chance we're having a beer together.
Mate, I'm going to come to your thing on Saturday.
I've heard it all before.
I'll come to the thing on Saturday. I just told you.
Is that true or is that true?
Is it true? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
did I say I'm coming to the thing on Saturday?
Yes, you did. Woo!
All right. I'll see you on Saturday.